So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this short introduction to the CHES Professional Learning Programme for 2025. My name is Sophia Talbot-Strettel. I'm the Assistant Principal at CHES. I've had the real privileged position of being at CHES since day one. So it's been fantastic to see us grow. And I think the fact that we're now in year 3 and what we're offering this year is incredibly exciting for us, but hopefully for you as teachers and leaders across Victoria. So when it comes to our 2025 programs, I'll just run through what we're going to be offering. Again, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A chat and I will endeavour to answer them at the end, or I can follow up with an email afterwards. So this is how we're going to be running our webinars for this year. So at the moment, we're aiming to have at least 2 per term. We have contacted experts from both internationally and also from the local area as well. So really wanting to make sure that when we are offering webinars that they are relevant to our context, ensuring that it's evidence-based, but with that practical application. So yes, there's research, but making sure that as teachers, we understand how that actually might apply to our classroom and being able to be given some practical strategies from that. So it's not just hearing about a theory, it's hearing about what that means in terms of our practice. We'll always have elements of interactive Q&A so that you are attending live and able to speak to the expert, ask questions, and offer your own insights into what what you think, and also in terms of what you then might do in terms of next steps. When we are looking, we are always looking with that high ability lens. So it is about ensuring that we are being consistent with maybe other PLs that you might be doing, but we are offering it thinking about that high ability lens. So, we will be hearing lots, if you haven't already, about cognitive load, for example, as part of the VTLM 2.0 and thinking about explicit teaching, which is all fantastic. But we will make sure that if we are going to be looking at that, we will be looking at it from the aspect of what does that mean for our high ability learners, and as teachers, what does that mean for our teaching of those learners as well. And we will also make sure that we are covering both primary and secondary topics. So yes, CHES as a facility is senior secondary. However, CHES as a professional learning facilitator is about P to 12. So that's really important that we are ensuring that when we are getting people to talk in our webinars, that they will be talking in regards to primary and secondary contexts as well. As I put on there, please let me know of any particular topics that you have. These are totally free for government school teachers to attend, and we will be recording them. They won't be made publicly available. They will be housed on our community of practice, which I will talk to a little bit later on. But the idea being that these webinars are going to be available for you after the event as well. So coming up next week, I'm really excited. We've got Dr. Neil Gilbride, who's going to be talking to us about self-efficacy. I've got Morgan Whitfield next term, who's going to be looking at equity and gifted education. And we've also got some educators going to be coming in to talk about twice exceptional students. And I'm hoping to get Dr. Nathaniel Swain coming in later on in the year to talk to us about the VTLM 2.0 science of learning. But again, with that understanding of what that might look for and what we need to think about in terms of our high ability learners. So if you do have any questions, any ideas, topics you would like to cover, please let me know, and I will endeavour to ensure that we cover those topics. And if it's not this year, that can be thinking of our programme for 2026 as well. So that's our webinars. The second thing that we're offering this year is our workshops. So some of you may have attended our workshops in 2023 and 2024. And we are pleased to say that we are working again with Deakin, but please know that if you did attend those previous workshops, they are different for 2025. So what we are going to be doing is focusing on our high ability classrooms. So actually what's happening in our classrooms and focusing on that practice. They are a one-day workshop, and that workshop is repeated once a term. So if you attend in April, someone else may attend in May, it will be the same workshop that you are attending. Okay, so the idea is if you're going to be sending groups of teachers, just be aware that you don't want to be sending them on the same one twice. So they will be repeated. They are primary specific and secondary specific. So again, please make sure that you're signing up for the correct one. It is about using the research. We have, over the last couple of years, been able to really gather some really fantastic research from Victoria. So actually from case studies that we've seen in schools, both regional, rural and metro, both primary and secondary. And we're also going to be using student voice. So the idea is that whilst we are looking at some of the research that's international, we're also very much basing on what we have found and what is happening in Victoria at the moment. So really about ensuring that we're sharing that good practice that's happening and being able to kind of link people with what is happening in their areas. As I say, it is different to the PL that we offered the workshops previously, and in a sense it's actually a good continuation. So for school leaders particularly, that was obviously looking very much at that whole school. This is very much looking at the classroom. It may be useful if you're then going to want to attend and then use that for your own professional learning in-house. So in terms of what we're covering, here is just literally the overview. So the three things that we're going to be focusing on in the professional learning workshop are the environment. So who are our high ability learners? And what does it mean to actually have a classroom culture that allows high ability students to shine? So not talking about maybe extension enrichment activities, co-curricular activities that you may be doing beyond the classroom. This is very much focused on classroom practice. What is it day-to-day teachers can be doing to really ensure they're supporting those high ability learners? Secondly, what are we teaching? So thinking about our curriculum, how do we plan our curriculum in ways that support them? Thinking about the VTLM 2.0 as well to ensure that we're being consistent with maybe other professional learning you're hearing in terms of what does that mean? What do we need to consider? So for example, with teaching novices versus experts, there are things to consider there in terms of how we might apply things like, for example, cognitive load and thinking about modelling scaffolding, how that might be slightly different for high ability learners. And then finally, focusing on the pedagogy. So what actually are we doing? What strategies are we putting in place? What can we actually do in our classrooms to support those students? So that is the overview of what we're going to be offering as our professional learning. So it is different from prior sessions that we've run, but we are hoping that this really enables and empowers teachers in the classroom to think about their practice and support the high ability learners. Again, we will be welcoming feedback as we go. So please remember that this is what we're offering to support teachers, and it's really important that, you know, getting the feedback from you in terms of if there are any things that you would like to look at as we go along. Couple of things in terms of the logistics. It is offered high flex, so you can do the professional learning day totally online. So if you are more regional or rural and it's difficult for you to come on site, that's absolutely fine. We're offering it online, and we have a facilitator who runs online as well. So you will not, we have an online facilitator and the on-site facilitator, but we also have high flex. And we want to make sure that as a group, we come together. The only thing I would like to just flag is if you're going to be doing it online, please can you ensure that you've got that time and space to be able to attend. And that's where I've got those 2 bullet points are really important. So there is no cost for government school teachers to attend this professional learning, and we will also cover CRT for you to be able to get that time release to be able to attend. So CRT funding is available, and that can be if you contact our business manager or contact myself, and I can put you in touch with a business manager to ensure that those payments take place, because we really want to ensure that you are given the time and space to be able to attend the PL. And so whether that's on site or online, we want to make sure that you're not having to juggle any additional lessons and classes. It's for the whole day. So we want to make sure that we can facilitate you to be here for that whole day, whether you're on site or online. So that's the workshops. The other thing that we will be doing later on in the year, so this is a bit of a kind of watch this space to be confirmed exactly what we're going to be looking at. But essentially we have on the 13th and 14th of November, we will be running a High Ability Excellence in Teaching conference. And we envision that's going to involve expert speakers again, so getting some keynote speakers in, but we also want to encourage our colleagues from across Victoria to come and share their experiences of their teaching. Because I think this is the thing, as a community of practice, we learn best from each other. And so that's what we will be encouraging at this conference. And finally, of course, hearing from the students as well. So the conference is a really exciting opportunity for us at CHES to bring everyone together to go through what it is in terms of what we've been offering, but also what you guys have been able to do during the year, but also drawing on some of those experts and looking at the research as well. So that's just one to pencil in that we're going to be telling you more about, probably in term 2 and then obviously in term 3 as well. 2 more things from me. The first is CHES coming to your school as well. So please know that we are here also to offer any student workshops. Now, again, our expertise is more in that senior secondary field. So we have run workshops at schools for senior secondary students where it comes to things like thinking about university, thinking about goal setting, thinking about study skills. So those kind of sessions we are more than happy to be running, or talk to you about groups in your area who may be able to run that. Secondly, as well, we are also available to come to your school to deliver some professional learning. So again, thinking about if you're responsible, if you're thinking of planning professional learning for this year, if there's an opportunity for us to come in, that could be an after school session, that could be during a student free day. And again, we can either physically come in, we can also do an online session as well. So just to know, and again, this is all fully subsidized, so there are no payments. I think, as I said, to one school, perhaps a cup of tea or 2 if we're coming there in person. But this really is about us being able to support you and your students and your colleagues to do, to really help enhance the learning of those high ability students. So we're available for workshops for both yourself and for your students. So again, have a think, have a talk to your colleagues, to your leadership team about how and where that work for you this year. And then finally, and this is perhaps the one thing I'm most excited about, is we are establishing this term. So we are literally setting up an online platform, which we're hoping to roll out before the end of term 1. So because you have all given your education email, that essentially is what you're going to be using to be able to access our community of practice. So this will be the opportunity for you to access resources, materials, webinars, etc. Up-to-date evidence, there'll be updates, etc. on there, but also to be able to create networks with each other. So things like regional hubs, being able to start up where, for example, I might come to do a workshop in one school, and that actually might involve 4 schools in the area coming to that school for that workshop. And again, the idea of using our community of practice to establish and create some of those networks will be fantastic. So this really is going to be something that we are starting to roll out this year, and we're hoping to build and build. And what's been wonderful, just hearing feedback from people in regards to this webinar and other webinars and other information we put out, is that there clearly is a desire from teachers to really work and support their high ability learners, and we want to really make sure that we can do that by supporting you to do that. Thank you very much all for coming.